A footballer was murdered for scoring an own goal. An entire fake national team played an international match. A striker bit 3 different players like he was collecting human flavors. Thailand and Indonesia competed to see who could lose harder. And Ghana literally flew $3 million cash in a plane because their players threw a tantrum. These aren't conspiracy theories. This actually happened. Here's every insane football scandal that makes match fixing look boring. Andres Escobar's fatal own goal. Andres Escobar scored an own goal against the USA at the 1994 World Cup. Colombia lost 2-1 and got eliminated. 5 days later, he got shot 6 times outside a Medellin nightclub. The gunman reportedly yelled, "Goal!" after each bullet. Colombia had entered as favorites after destroying Argentina 5-0 in qualifying. Drug cartels had bet millions on them advancing. Escobar's own goal cost them everything. The killer got 43 years but served only 11. Pablo Escobar had already shown what happens when football meets Colombian cartels. Andres wrote in a newspaper column days before his death, "Life doesn't end here." He was unfortunately wrong. The pallbearers carried his coffin with over 120,000 people attending his funeral. Togo's fake national team. In 2010, Bahrain organized a friendly against Togo, won 3-0, which are honestly normal results, except Togo's actual national team was in Africa preparing for the African Cup. The entire squad was fake. Some random dudes showed up in Togo jerseys, played 90 minutes of international football, collected appearance fees, and disappeared. The mastermind was Wilson Raj Perumal, a Singaporean match fixer who literally created a counterfeit national team. He hired players from lower leagues, flew them to Bahrain, and convinced everyone they were Togo. The real Togo FA found out when Bahrain called to thank them for the match. Imagine checking Twitter and seeing your national team played a game you didn't know about. The players got paid more for one fake international than most make in a year. Bahrain still counts it as an official match. Calciopoli wiretaps. Italian police wiretapped Juventus executives in 2006 and discovered they were basically picking their own referees. The recordings had Luciano Moggi calling referee designators like he was ordering pizza. "Yeah, I'll take one linesman who doesn't call offside. Extra biased, please." Juventus, AC Milan, Fiorentina, Lazio, and Regina all got caught. Juve got hit hardest, relegated to Serie B, stripped of 2 titles, and docked points. They lost Zlatan, Cannavaro, Thuram, and Vieira faster than you can say match manipulation. The scandal was so Italian it had wiretaps, corruption, and powerful old men in suits. Moggi got banned for life and spent years in court. Inter Milan retrospectively won the 2006 title by default, which is like winning a race because everyone else got disqualified for having engines. Italian football lost credibility for a decade, but let's be real. Everyone assumed this was happening anyway. Luis Suarez biting trilogy. Luis Suarez bit 3 different players across 3 different leagues like he was collecting Pokemon cards. First victim, Otman Bakal at Ajax in 2010, 7-game ban. Second course, Branislav Ivanovic's arm at Liverpool in 2013, 10-game ban. The finale, Giorgio Chiellini's shoulder at the 2014 World Cup, banned for 4 months and 9 internationals. Dude had more biting incidents than Mike Tyson. The Chiellini bite happened on global TV with billions watching. Chiellini pulled his shirt down to show teeth marks like evidence in a murder trial. FIFA's disciplinary committee probably had a "Suarez bit someone again" template ready. Barcelona still paid £75 million for him weeks later, because apparently being a vampire is fine if you score 30 goals a season. Suarez claimed he lost balance, and his teeth accidentally found 3 different shoulders. That's not losing balance, that's having an eating disorder. Even Hannibal Lecter thinks he needs therapy. Barbados versus Grenada, own goal chaos. The 1994 Caribbean Cup had the dumbest rule in football history. Golden goals counted double. Barbados needed to beat Grenada by 2 goals to advance. They were up 2-0. Then Grenada scored. 2-1 with 3 minutes left. Barbados did the math and deliberately scored an own goal to force extra time, where a golden goal would give them the 2-goal margin. Now it's 2-2, and Grenada realizes if they score an own goal, they lose by 1 in advance. So Grenada attacks both goals while Barbados defends both goals. For the final minutes, 22 players ran around like a FIFA glitch, with Barbados defenders clearing balls from their own net. Barbados held on, scored in extra time, won 4-2. The rule was immediately scrapped because apparently nobody at CONCACAF understood basic math until they watched this fever dream unfold. Marseille match fixing. Bernard Tapie owned Marseille and wanted to win everything. In 1993, they were about to play the European Cup final against Milan. One problem, they had a league match against Valenciennes days before. Tapie's solution? Bribe Valenciennes players to take it easy. He sent his assistant with envelopes of cash like a mafia movie. Valenciennes defender Jacques Glassman refused the money and snitched. Marseille lost their Ligue 1 title, got relegated to Division 2, and banned from defending their European crown. Tapie got 6 months in prison after already having been a government minister of France. The scandal killed French football's reputation for years. Milan probably would have destroyed them anyway with Baresi and Maldini, but Tapie couldn't risk his players getting injured against Valenciennes farmers. The bribe money could have bought a decent backup squad instead. Thierry Henry's handball. November 18, 2009. France vs. Ireland World Cup playoff. Score tied, extra time. Thierry Henry controls the ball with his hand twice, crosses to Gallas who scores. France goes to the World Cup. Ireland goes home. Henry basically played volleyball in the box while the referee was checking his watch. Irish players surrounded him like, "Mate, this isn't basketball." Henry did that guilty celebration where you know you cheated, but you're not giving it back. He later admitted he handled it, but said replays would kill the game. Ireland demanded everything. A replay, a 33rd World Cup spot, UN intervention. FIFA told them to cope. France went to South Africa and imploded spectacularly with player strikes and 0 wins. Karma is a bitch. Ireland got €5 million from FIFA as compensation. That's like your girlfriend cheating and offering you a $5. The handball is still shown in Irish pubs to ruin everyone's night. Mexico's catch rules scandal. Mexico tried to cheat at the 1988 CONCACAF Under-20 Championship by using older players. Not one or two. Basically, half the squad was old enough to have mortgages. They called them catch rules, which roughly translates to cheaters, but sounds funnier. CONCACAF discovered birth certificates faker than Kardashian faces. One player was allegedly 26 playing in an under-20 tournament. That's like bringing a gun to a knife fight. FIFA went nuclear and banned every Mexican team from international competition for 2 years. Mexico missed the 1990 World Cup, adding to their previous absences from 1974 and 1982. The Mexican FA fired everyone. Players had their careers destroyed for a youth tournament nobody remembers. The ban cost Mexico millions in revenue and World Cup dreams. They've been traumatized about age verification ever since. Now they probably DNA test their under-15s. France 2010. Players strike France went to the 2010 World Cup and decided democracy was more important than football. Anelka told coach Dominic to go fuck himself at halftime versus Mexico and got sent home. The squad responded by going on strike at training. They literally sat on the bus while media filmed them like a reality show. Captain Evra argued with fitness coach Robert Duverne on the pitch. Duverne threw his accreditation and stormed off. The French FA director quit on live TV. President Sarkozy had to intervene. They lost to South Africa and went home as the worst French team ever. Players got banned, Dominic was already leaving, and French football hit rock bottom. The bus driver became the most important man in French football because he refused to drive them away from training. Even the 2002 team that went out in the group stage didn't revolt. Peak French, turning football into a labor dispute. Carlos Kaiser, the fake footballer. Carlos Kaiser played professional football for 20 years without playing football. He signed for Botafogo, Flamengo, Vasco, and Fluminense by knowing the right people and faking injuries. His strategy: arrive at a new club, pull a hamstring in the first training session, rehab for months while partying with models. When close to recovery, he'd fake another injury. He dated models and told them he was Renato Gaucho, showing them videos of the real players scoring goals. Brought fake newspaper clippings of his career. Once, when forced to train, he started a fight to get sent off before anyone saw him play. At Ajaccio, he kicked all the training balls into the crowd while kissing the club badge to avoid having to actually play. His only recorded match appearance ended when he punched a fan and got a red card without touching the ball. A documentary was made because his life was more entertaining than most players' actual careers. Bokeh River pepper spray. The 2015 Copa Libertadores round of 16 was Boca Juniors versus River Plate, Argentina's biggest rivalry. At La Bombonera, River players walked through the tunnel at halftime when Boca fans sprayed them with pepper spray through vents. Players couldn't breathe. Eyes burning, chaos everywhere. Leonardo Poncio was vomiting. The referee tried to restart, but River players were literally blind. Match abandoned. CONMEBOL's solution: disqualify Boca and fine them $200,000. Boca blamed rogue fans like the pepper spray aimed itself. River advanced and won the final. The rivalry was already insane. Fans murdered over this derby. Adding chemical warfare just seemed inevitable. Bokeh's stadium got partially closed for future matches. Their fans probably considered it worth it. South American football, where Geneva Convention violations are just passionate support. Maradona's Hand of God, June 22, 1986. Argentina versus England, World Cup quarterfinal. Maradona jumps with Peter Shilton and punches the ball into the net, scored with his fist like a volleyball spike. The Tunisian referee somehow missed a 5 feet 5 inches man, outjumping a 6 feet 1 inches goalkeeper with his hand. Maradona celebrated like he'd scored a worldie. 4 minutes later, he actually scored the greatest goal ever, dribbling past 6 players. After the match, he stated, "A little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God." England was furious, but also had no answer for a coked-up genius who turned football into art. Argentina won the World Cup. Shilton still hasn't gotten over it 40 years later. The handball became more famous than most players' entire careers. Cheating so blatant it became religious. Only Maradona could punch a ball and make it philosophical. Robert Heuser referee scandal. German referee Robert Heuser took €67,000 to fix matches in 2005. Not Champions League finals, we're talking second division and cup games. He gave 2 penalties to SC Paderborn against Hamburg in the cup, sending Hamburg out. That's like rigging a food fight. Investigators found connections to Croatian betting syndicates. Heuser confessed and snitched on everyone, got banned for life and 29 months in prison. 3 other refs got caught. The scandal made Germans question everything, which for Germans is Tuesday. One fixed match involved Chemnitzer FC versus LR Aalen, a game nobody outside those cities knew existed. Imagine going to prison for rigging Chemnitzer FC. The betting syndicate made millions while Heuser made what a mid-level accountant earns. German efficiency. Even their match fixing is poorly negotiated. Thailand versus Indonesia, own goals. The 1998 Tiger Cup group stage created a scenario where both Thailand and Indonesia wanted to lose to avoid playing Vietnam in the semis. The match became competitive own goal scoring. Both teams shot at their own nets like they were playing backwards FIFA. Indonesia's defender Mursyid Effendi scored a deliberate own goal so obvious he might as well have picked up the ball and thrown it in. Thailand tried to outlose them. The final score was 3-2 to Thailand, but both teams were trying to lose. Fans booed for 90 minutes watching millionaire athletes deliberately fail. FIFA fined both $40,000 for violating the spirit of the game. Mursyid got banned for life because his own goal was too theatrical. The tournament changed the format immediately. Sometimes football creates a situation so stupid that match fixing becomes logical. Ghana's $3 million cash plane. Ghana's 2014 World Cup squad threatened to boycott their must-win final group game because they hadn't been paid. Not paid late, not paid at all. The Ghana FA promised money was coming. Players said, "We've heard that before." President John Mahama's solution? Load $3 million cash onto a plane and fly it to Brazil. Not a wire transfer like normal countries, actual physical cash in bags like a drug deal. Players wanted to see the money before playing Portugal. The plane landed, they counted the cash, then lost 2-1 and went home. Imagine Cristiano Ronaldo watching opponents literally checking money bags before kickoff. The photos went viral. Professional footballers holding stacks of hundreds. FIFA was embarrassed, Ghana was embarrassed, but the players got paid. Sometimes you need visual confirmation that your federation isn't completely useless.